Hello, I am Dyslexo Boy. I've put together a series about how to overcome dyslexia and ADHD while studying in medical school. In this video, I'll be talking about how to plan your revision so that you give yourself the best chance at covering all of the material and do well in your exams. One of the stereotypes I've seen in medical school is students and doctors talking about how little they have to study. Apparently they only need to go over material once in order to remember it, or they have very effective cramming material before exams. I'm going to take their word that this is true for them, but it can be dispiriting for those of us who do have to do a lot of work in order to remember things. I want to emphasize, needing to revise doesn't make you stupid, which is how sometimes it can feel. Just as I've talked before about how it's important to take breaks to avoid burning out, it must also be acknowledged how much work it can take for us to learn material. I don't want you to overtax yourself or neglect to study. You have to find a pace that works for you. That pace might change over time. Just as a runner speeds up as they train, I found my stamina for the amount of work that I can do increases with the more practice that I get. It's incredibly important to revise generally in medicine, and especially with dyslexia. One of the ways dyslexia can affect you is that it can be difficult to hold things in your short-term memory. The phonological loop, which acts sort of like a Rolodex of information in your brain, allows you to quickly flip through recently acquired knowledge. Dyslexia can negatively affect this loop, which results in cards flying out of the Rolodex. As a result, you lose recently acquired information, and this makes it difficult to read, follow long lists of processes, and also affects your ability to cram for exams. It's not all doom and gloom, however. Other faculties step in to compensate for poor short-term memory, such as visuospatial reasoning, pattern recognition, and interpersonal skills. They all tend to improve to some degree. I will go into more detail about the advantages of dyslexia in the future, but I want to stress that all of them are pre-dedicated on putting information into your long-term memory. I'm going to go into more detail about specific tools to engage your long-term memory in the next video. As for now, I want to talk about how and when to start your revision. I've split my videos into three playlists: learning new material, revision, and exams. I've asked you to watch all of them together because you should really be learning new material and revising old material at the same time. Here we go. So the revision period, right before exams, is really for preparing yourself for exam conditions. You should already have acquired the information that you will need on the exams up to this point. The most important takeaway from this video that I want you to have is start your revision early. What do I mean by early? I mean on day 2 of medical school, you should be revising material you covered on day 1. If you do nothing else, make sure you do at least 1 hour of revision regularly, each day if possible. It needs to become a habit, so the material you have reviewed is cemented into your mind. I'd recommend doing it in the morning so it's out of the way, as it is the most important thing you can do day to day. I'm not going to tell you not to do 7 hours of revision over the weekend. That might work for some people, but in my experience, it becomes easier to procrastinate if it's in one big clump. It also won't be as effective if you're not continuously re-exposing yourself to the material on a very regular basis. You might want to increase the amount of work in the run-up to the exams, maybe doing 2 or 3 hours each day, but the most important thing is that you're studying at least a little, but do it often. In my next video, we're going to be going over specific tools you can use to make your hour of revision as efficient as possible. Thank you for your time.